What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gator Gang Network.
That's
I'm
pretty
your
cool.
host, Bobby, and I am with my co-hosts, Darryl and Lucas. How are you guys tonight?
I'm fucking get a
It's a
freaking
wonderful
Christmas Eve,
Friday
man.
night.
It is a
I'm gonna
good
get on
Friday.
Christmas Eve.
The one good
I'm
thing
gonna
about
get on
tonight
Christmas
is when you go to bed and you wake up in the morning, it will be game day, and we will be one of the first games playing. So, without
Yeah.
further
I'm gonna
ado, it's
I'm gonna
Florida
get
versus
on Christmas Eve.
this September 26, 2020. We would be what our third week of football already if it wasn't for everything that's
Yeah,
going
I'm
on.
supposed to be on my way to Tennessee tonight.
Yeah, so everything's completely changed and how it is, but we're thankful to have some football.
Okay.
That's one thing we are thankful for. Uh, Florida versus Ole Miss, that would have been a later game in the
For
season,
Georgia.
but now it's going to be the first game of the season, which is a good
That would
thing
be
in my eyes for Florida because of everything that's gone on, being on the road, and not having a spring, and with just everything. Well, looky here, y'all. Um, you gotta add Zach to the
Yo,
podcast
yo,
with us.
yo, yo, yo.
He was able to make it, so
Hey,
that's
Zach.
good news.
I'm
How
here,
are you, Zach?
guys. I'm alive. I'm
what's
alive.
up, Zach?
Ah,
Yeah.
it's
What's
good
up,
to have you,
Zach?
bud. Well,
What's up, fellas?
doing
Hey,
good, doing good. And as I was saying, it's the first game of the season versus Ole Miss, and we would already been in our third week, but hey, we're thankful to have some football, ain't we? The
Oh
one
yeah.
thing
Go
that
Gators.
yeah.
that's crazy is the ACC's already started. Then you got all these other conferences that are now wanting not from opting out of the season to now wanting to come back into the season. And what kind of role is that going to play for the Big Ten and the teams like Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan? Because let's be real, them are about the only three teams in that conference that are competable to make a wave in anything. But
Yeah.
Florida
And
goes
we
into Ole Miss
the
in a
Pac-12
noon
was
game.
starting.
Ole Miss has Lane Kiffin as the first year head coach, so that's something that they don't have the chemistry, right off the bat. So that is going to work in the favor of Florida because we have the same head coach, same coaching, a lot of the same returning players, and we found a quarterback. Kyle Trask, after the injury of Felipe Franks, came in that Kentucky game and really showed that he can be a leader, he can be a starter, that he's ready for this, that he is in his, in the spotlight. And I think this year is going to be even better for Kyle Trask because he knows that, this is his time. It's his, his position to lose, and he's gained some muscle, lost some weight, and he's looking real good. He's leaner, faster, and I'm just looking to say that he's going to have a Joe Burrow type of year.
I
I
I
agree.
wouldn't go that far, but I agree with you. The only way I see Kyle Trask not being the starter the whole year if he gets injured.
I do agree, and also with this COVID that's going around and whatnot, that could really impact a player's season, and and pop positive for COVID-19, and you're not even able to play that week, and you're not showing any symptoms. So we just got to hope that that's limited. We don't have a whole lot of that. Hopefully none at all. Because these players are going to want to get out there on the field. But let's talk a little bit about Kyle Trask and Darryl. I'm going to start with you on this one. What are your expectations for Kyle Trask after seeing what he's proved last season, and what's to come this year?
So I mean, my expectations for Kyle this year, I would really want to see him uh, get his feet grounded a little bit more, and maybe be able to just that uh, deep downfield pass a little bit more. I mean, we've had it, but maybe just a little bit more accurate, squaring up that shoulder and getting that ball out. And I think, I mean, there's just little things like that he can tweak on. Um,
Yeah.
Tuck the ball and run whenever you have to. Don't be afraid of that.
And that's one thing that he showed a lot of, is his ability to be able to run. Obviously, he'd rather stand in the pocket, And as we seen in that Kentucky game, when he had those 2 hits, he fumbled the ball and took a pretty good whopping because he's not afraid to stand there in the pocket and hold the ball. But he had that timer in his head. I got to get the ball out quick. And throughout the season, we've seen him grow in that area tremendously. So those key things that you're talking about, I think that over the little bit of an off season that we've had, being able to get with Nick Savage in the weight room, and then with the coaching, the offensive coaching staff on the field and throwing and all that, I think that that's to come. But what kind of Zach? I'm gonna go with you on this one. What kind of first quarter do you think this game is going to be?
Well, I think that we're going to score on our first drive, and I think we're going to score on our second drive. So I think we'll put at least 14 by halftime, because I don't think their defense is going to stop us, to be truthful. And I think Kyle's going to come out firing, boy. He's going to throw one downfield, and hopefully the first one's a good passing touchdown. And that's how I hope the first, at least quarter or first half goes.
Okay, so basically what you want is for Florida to be able to come out and have a strong start, which is something that's been kind of lacking. Last year was in that first quarter we would have some ups and some downs, but we would kind of be that second quarter to second half team that's really like playing lights out at that point. We got to have a faster first quarter start in my eyes.
We got to show dominance for sure. We got to run it. We got to be dominant.
Yes, and that's going to get into my next question. And I'm going to go with Lucas to this one. Lucas, with last year's offensive line not being the way it was, and the way it should be in the run game, what kind of changes do you want to see this year with the offensive line?
I don't know if you guys saw it, but Malik Davis said that the offensive line has made strides during the offseason, so that's a pretty good sign. What I'm most looking forward to from the offensive line is, like you said, run blocking and just being way better overall than they were last year. Just improving way better and being way better than they were last year.
And
let's face it,
I agree.
We want to live in games with a poor offensive line. Can you imagine if they were just halfway decent?
Exactly, but you got to remember last year when we began the season, not one of those 5 starters never started a game together with each other, and we had it's a young offensive line, so chemistry is a big thing with the offensive line, and we will not have Ethan White, who I would say would be your starting center. We won't have him. We won't have him tomorrow. So things are going to be a little shifted up for week 1, but we can still get the job done.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's go to the defensive side of the ball. We've talked a lot about offense, but let's talk about some defense. And Lucas, I'm gonna start with you on this one. Who do you see being the defensive player to really step up?
I'm going to go with Kyle Young just because I think that he's going to have a really good year.
I think so. With the way he came in last year and played, he had some amazing plays, and he's a good tackler, at that. So with his experience last year, just being a freshman, this year being a sophomore, I think his role is going to be increased as well.
Yeah, I agree. If you want to hear my take, I think that I want to see some good pass rushing like we had last year. I know we had a couple guys leave, Grenard and what's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now. Yeah, Zuniga, and then
Zuniga. Yeah.
So I want to see some good rushing, man. I want to see we're back at that spot pretty good because we put some pretty good pressure on some good quarterbacks last year.
Yes, we did. Starting out that first one against Miami with 10 sacks, we could definitely duplicate that on defense for the first game of the season. I would love to see that. But if we're going to talk about defensive line, I think Diabate is going to be that Jonathan Grenard type player. He was stout in that Vanderbilt game. I was there and I got to watch him, and he looked good. He looked real good. What you think, Darryl?
Yeah, you took my pick. Diamante, he's got to step up. He's got to play that new
Yeah.
role. But I'm really excited about that kid. He looked really good. And, I mean, there's a lot of young players that are going to be rotated in, and I think, Dan, the defensive coordinator, they do a good job of getting those younger guys in because we're going to have some new cornerbacks as well on the side. So there's going to be some young talent, and they're very talented. I think we recruited very well on that side of the ball. So I'm excited to see what comes out.
Right.
I
And
heard big things about Ventrell Miller. So we'll see if he pulls through this year because they're saying he's stepping in the leadership position. So
yeah, we could definitely use him. So we have some key players on defense. But Lucas, I'm going to you on this question because you're big on getting the inside information, and I'm not quite sure about the Brad Stewart and Kyrie Campbell why they're not on the depth chart, but they're available to play. Do you have any inside sources of why they're not on the depth chart?
is he Luke? Is he there? Is he frozen?
Lucas,
He's frozen.
I think he's frozen. Darryl, do you want to take on this question?
I really don't know. They've kept it pretty much under wraps from what I can
I haven't
tell.
got any inside information on it. I don't have any inside information.
Okay, well, all I can say is, I hope that they play.
Wish I did, but
They're
I
both
don't.
key players on the team that we definitely want to see them out there and getting the reps and getting to that team.
My take on that situation is they've been so quiet about it and not relaying information that there may be some testing issues there. But
yeah, I think it's COVID. It got to be COVID.
Well, because normally, like if it's an injury or if somebody got in trouble, they might not tell you what happened, but they're going to tell you that players are suspended or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I really think there may be something there. Maybe they're just not feeling well or something. But
right, it's to my understanding that when it comes to health information, they're not allowed to disclose
they're not
a medical condition.
So
yeah. I think it's got to do with COVID, but that's only my speculation. I don't know that to be true.
I don't know for sure either. I just know because of the silence, it makes me think that that's what it is.
Exactly. Hold on here. We got Lucas coming back. All right, Lucas, what's up, buddy? You there?
Yeah, it froze for a second, so I had to reboot.
It's all good. We're glad to have you back. So when you look at Florida's defense, all in all, we really didn't lose too much there. I think that I'm going to call Florida's defense a no-fly zone because I really don't think you're going to throw on Florida. I think they have way too many cornerbacks and safeties that will have a knack for getting at the ball and being at the right place at the right time. So I'm going to say that the running game is something that Ole Miss is going to have to lean on to keep them in the game. What's your take on that?
I don't.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I'm with you on that because I don't think that Ole Miss is going to be able to throw on our defense, especially our defensive backs.
I'm not sure of the player's name, but even Dan Mullen commented on one of their players. He's one of the quarterbacks. He's supposedly super fast, so I think they're gonna have some definitely. Yeah, I definitely think they're gonna have some schemed up with him, definitely to run it. So we'll keep an eye on that guy.
Right, and I think that's where a lot of Ventrell Miller is going to have to step up and be that quarterback spy and make sure that he don't use those legs because being a dual threat quarterback, that's the one thing that that you have against you is if you lock every receiver up, but you leave some daylight in front of that quarterback, he can hurt you with the legs. So that's one thing we definitely, like you say, Zach, we got to keep that in check.
And mobile quarterbacks have hurt Florida's defenses in the past, so we got to be ready for that.
Yes, got to be ready for that. Todd Grantham, defensive coordinator. The way that the defense has been last year, the only game that I was actually really disappointed with how we played was the Georgia game. I just didn't see a lot of adjustments made in the
And the
Georgia
thing,
game. But other than
and the
that,
thing
Dan
we only
Mullen, I
lost
mean,
that game by 7 points.
yeah. I mean, what are we? What is it? A 13-point favorite? We're favored to win by 13.
I think it's went up since
13 and a
then.
half, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, when
13.5, I think.
when the line first came out, it was 11 points. I was
Yeah.
happy to see that it was a double digit over Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. So I mean, I think it's going to be a game that's going to start slow, but pick up. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in, start our predictions. And I'm going to start with Darryl on this one because I know he's been going back and forth on this game and how he thinks it's going to be. So I'm going to give him the floor.
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth on this, and I feel like Florida is going to go out and dominate. But then I'm so nervous about Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Ole Miss has given Florida problems in the past, and it's not going to be an easy win going up against Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has nothing to lose, and he's going to pull out all his stops. Right now, if I was going to throw out my score, but I think it's going to be 38-21 Florida. But I do think that Florida has to come back in that first quarter. I actually don't think Florida dominates the first quarter. I think Ole Miss does. So Florida comes back either in the second half or third or fourth quarter and starts getting things together. But I think it's going to be close in that quarter.
Right, I agree. So I mean, a lot of your points that I'm getting at is like you think Florida should come out and dominate, and a lot of that will come with that first quarter and getting that quick start because we haven't been able to do that with everything that's gone on. I think it's going to be a sloppy first quarter. I just think that we pick it up in the second, third, and fourth quarter, and eventually, I think my score is going to be Florida 31, Ole Miss 13. That's what I had posted in the group, and that's my score. And I'm gonna flip it over to Lucas, the Gator man, and we're gonna get his take on the score prediction.
If you saw my post in the prediction, you know where I'm going with this. 34-20 Gators. I just think it's like you said, it's gonna be a sloppy first quarter, but I think we're gonna take control after that. 34-20.
Awesome. I like that we're all in that 30 range for the Gators. But we got to flip it to Zach over here and let Zach. What you think's going? What you got for the score prediction?
All righty, guys. Well, I think as it may be a little sloppy, I think we'll be the better, sloppier team. I think that we have a lot more looking forward coming back this season than Ole Miss. I think we have a lot better connection between coaches and players, and you know how Florida's been running things pretty great. So I think we're going to come out sloppy, at least for the first half. We'll clean things up second half. And I believe the score will be, I'm going 40-14.
40-14, stepping up big and not giving Ole Miss anything. I'm giving them the 13, a touchdown and 2 field goals. I don't think they're going to do much. I mean, I think their touchdown's going to come in that first quarter because for whatever reason, there was a lot of games last year where our defense, that first drive, we just kind of let them go, hey, here's a touchdown. But after that, we really settled down and made the adjustments. But I mean, overall, I think the defense is going to be better this year than it was last year. And I think Dan Mullen he's a great player coach, and I just think that Florida's got to be come out to a fast start and be ready and next man up. And that's what I love about Dan Mullen's coaching style is the second and third team, they get practice with the first team, just as much as first team all day. You know what I'm saying? So it's always that next man up mentality. And I think this is a season that you've got to have that more than ever because of the potential of obviously injuries, but as well, COVID-19 and what kind of role that could play as the season rolls along.
Hey,
Yeah, I
Bobby, I don't
agree.
know. I know we
I
did
just
the
wanted to
Florida.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I just wanted to add that I think this is a big statement game because we got a lot of people looking at us doing big things this season. So we gotta come out hard and we gotta put points on the board, because if it's even a 2-touchdown game, I think it doesn't say a lot. Just considering how bad, I mean, they won 4 games last season, I think 4 or 5 games, I'm not sure. And this is a statement game. We got to come out swinging. We got to put big numbers on the board for people to continue believing in us, as a team, and as predicted to win the East. If Georgia's going to blow out their team, they're going to blow out Arkansas. So we kind of got to do the same, I believe. And I don't know, that's kind of what I want to add to that.
I mean, I don't know. Georgia, with their quarterback Jamie Newman that transferred from Wake Forest to Georgia, him being the potential starter, and then he decides to opt out. Now they got to go with the backup quarter JT Daniels, and I think that's going to hurt them any aspect of.
JT is not even cleared yet because he got injured, and he's not even cleared yet.
At the same time, you got to remember they're playing Franks. I mean, Georgia's got Frank's number. I mean, we've all seen it. Witness that. I mean, they got Frank's number to a T.
I can't knock Felipe Franks. I mean, yeah,
I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying the history shows that Georgia has Frank's number.
Georgia should win that game, for sure. It is Arkansas, but to touch on. What scares me the most about our game is the uncertainties of what Lane Kiffin is going to do. Ole Miss had a horrible record last year, but this is a new football team, new coach, and even Dan pointed to it. There's no film on what this team's going to do, so it's going to be challenged. They kind of got to look at other teams and see what Lane's done and what these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators have done for other schools, and see how they're going to use that. We don't even know who the starting quarterback is. We probably won't know until 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting because Lane Kiffin's going to throw some tricks at us. But I do believe that you're right. This is a statement game. Florida, if they want to put the foot down on the pedal for the East and maintain the lead for the East, you do have to come out and dominate. I don't know if it'll quite happen this first game, but I do think that Florida will dominate.
Yeah. We had a one of our viewers had commented, Georgia will kill Arkansas with their run game, and I completely agree because their offensive line is massive, and I just think that Georgia's run game will be the factor in that game. I don't even think it'll be the quarterback play. But like we said, we're talking about Arkansas, who was no greater in any statistic higher than 9th. So 9th through the 14 teams that we got in the league, in the conference, they're in the bottom half. So Georgia at the top, Arkansas at the bottom. Exactly. I don't see that game going. I think that's going to be a lopsided game. I do, however, wish Felipe Franks the success and a great game.
Who knows? It might be the upset of the weekend.
It very well could be. Felipe Franks reminded me of a Blake Bortles for the Jacksonville Jaguars of inconsistency. Like 1 week you would say, man, he's up there with the Tom Brady's and the Drew Brees, and then the next week he's looking like he don't even deserve a roster spot.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah,
that's because he's too emotional, man. He's an emotional guy. He's too emotional, and it comes into the game, and it affects him. So if you could ever get rid of his emotions, he'll be an all-star quarterback, period. I'm not doubting his quarterback skills. I know Georgia wants to make a statement as well, and Arkansas is the team to start with to do it if they're going to do it. I believe, at least in the SEC. And I pretty much guarantee they're going to put 40 points on the board plus. I see that.
So let's talk about some other games that that are happening in the SEC, and I'm really interested in that South Carolina Tennessee game.
If you want one, if you want a shirt, just contact me and I'll mail it to you.
Yes, Darryl, how do you feel about the South Carolina Tennessee game?
Yeah, so I got a list of games here. Well, we'll start with the South Carolina game. All right, 'cause I'm a football guy, man. I look at what. All right, South Carolina, Tennessee, man. That one I really don't know. I just don't know. I think Tennessee's going to win.
I think it's a toss-up.
I think Tennessee's going to win it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Tennessee. They kind of got to make some statements too if they're for real about the East.
They got a big year this year.
I agree.
There's going to be some.
They always say they're back. They got to prove that shit.
They won like their last 6 games, in a row, right? So I mean,
yeah, and they actually look pretty.
They built as the season went on. They got a whole lot better. Yeah, they got a whole lot better as the season went along. So, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if South Carolina wins that game.
No, I wouldn't. Either way.
I think South Carolina got a new offensive coordinator.
So
the guy from Georgia, Michael.
What was that, Lucas?
Mike Bobo is the new offense coordinator for South Carolina. He was the quarterback in
Georgia. Lucas is on top of it now.
Hey, I knew
anything you want to know, Lucas is right there. He's the man to go to.
I knew there was a new OC though. I knew there was a new OC, but I didn't know his name.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna ponder on it. Arkansas, they have a new head coach as well, so that don't go in favor for them in that game against Georgia. But one thing that I did want to break onto your point, Darryl, earlier on the Florida Ole Miss game. I think Lane Kiffin, he's great with play calling and all of that and opening things up. But with not having a spring and not having the fall camp that you would hope for because of social distancing and not being able to be in groups and all that, I just really think that that's going to bite them, being that it's game 1. Yeah. If we were to play Ole Miss game 4 to game 5, I think we could talk about this game completely different.
Yeah, and
I think this would be, a more of a threat.
Yeah. I really hope they don't do good. I mean, obviously, I hope we just dominate them.
That's what I'm going for.
I mean, I really do. Look, I don't go watch football games and be like, man, I hope the other team scores. I just don't do it. I mean, I hope they dominate them. But I just know Lane's not going to have nothing to lose. And he's the kind of crazy offensive coordinator that he's going to throw stuff at Florida that they hadn't seen in a while, and he knows how to use that. He is a guru when it comes to that. So we'll have to play it out and see. But look, I hope we go out and dominate and blow them out the water. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. You got to also remember he's got to make sure he's got players that can play multiple positions. You need players that can play multiple positions this year, because if you can't, it's going to show big time.
Exactly.
Hey, so what about Kentucky, number 23 Kentucky, and number 8 Auburn? This is actually one of my picks.
Yeah.
Where is that game being played at?
Let's find out.
And the only reason I asked that is because that's another thing that I wanted to mention is I don't think home field advantage is going to be the advantage that it usually is. I mean, let's go for instance, Florida. 85,548 is what's
at Auburn.
Auburn, okay. I mean, I got Auburn in that game anyway, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people will expect it to be. I think Kentucky will, put up a great game. But back to the home field advantage, I don't think it's going to be as significant as it normally would be. And Florida, 85,000 plus. I'm just going to go with that number. I know we fit like 92, when we're at a full house, but averagely we're at about 85,000. So when you go from 85,000 to 17,000 fans, that's not a whole lot. And you're only going to have your home band. The away band is not going to be there. The fans are going to be so spread out and limited. And I just don't know how much of a home field advantage that's going to mean to any team.
Right. I think more and less it's going to be the travel. The travel is going to be the most difficult part for any team, the travel.
Yeah.
I agree. So this is my upset of the week. Kentucky gonna go in and beat Auburn. It's my pick. I picked Kentucky. They're gonna surprise some people this year. They're returning a lot of people like Florida. I'm telling you, they're gonna go in. I got them picked. My number 1 point to upset number 8, Auburn. Same time we play Ole Miss.
I agree. I think Kentucky's going to be a force.
Yeah.
Those of you who are watching and commenting, who's y'all's upset of the week? In the SEC going into week 1.
I'm glad we play Kentucky at the end of the year.
I don't know. I don't like that we're playing Kentucky in Tennessee at the end of the year because they get usually better at the end of the year.
I agree. Usually, we would be playing Tennessee this weekend, and now they're going to be the last game of the season. And we see what Tennessee did last year at the end of the season, winning their last 6 games. So
they did
like you say. I think we need to play these teams earlier in the year, and that's another reason why I'm glad Texas A&M is the 3rd game of the year. Not farther down the line.
Right. But
by the way,
y'all won't like me when we come to that week.
It's gonna be a battle of the fittest, man, because it's a tough year. We're playing all SEC teams, so it's gonna be Tennessee's gonna have to be completely there to beat us this year for sure. Because if they don't have the players on the field to get the job done, they're gonna get beat. Period. And the same for us. If we can stay healthy and keep our main guys on the field, we're going to dominate, period. It's who's going to last in the end because of this COVID and the weird season we're in.
Exactly. So let's talk about this one more game. It's a non-conference game. Florida State rolls into Miami. Darryl, I'm going to start with you. Who do you have in that game?
Look, let me tell you something, guys. Look, Florida State, I'm sorry. I've been there.
No, I'm not sorry.
I've been there. Look, I'm sorry.
He won't have Mike Norvell. He won't be coaching.
I have been there, guys. 2013, I sat there and watched Georgia Southern beat my Gators at home. Okay, so I've been there. But if Florida State, Jacksonville State might be their only win this year. I mean,
I think they agree. I think they agree with you.
I mean, it just gets harder if they don't win this weekend against Miami, which I think Miami's actually the only thing Miami don't have is a defense. So they're just going to have to outscore Florida State. But
I think in the second half that'd be easy to do.
I mean,
and I say that because Florida State, they this year, in the first half they play like a football team. But come around the second half, they're like,
I got Miami in that game.
And Norvell,
does anybody know that game is being played?
Norvell's not coaching.
Does anybody know that game's being played?
7:30 on ABC.
So
I'm taking Miami.
I'm taking Miami. I'm gonna take Miami by 10. I don't really know a score, but I'm gonna say Miami by 10.
I don't really care, but go Miami.
The Seminoles just lost to a team that won 3 games last season.
They should have. I mean, I don't even know how
and they were at home. And then UCF plays the same team and blows them out of the water.
Yeah, did y'all? I want to get y'all's take on UCF's quarterback and what he said of saying that they're the best team in Florida.
He's smoking dope.
Please put them on the schedule this year so we can put a hold to that conversation.
We already tried. They don't want it. They don't want the smoke.
My 3 touchdowns. We would expect them by 3 touchdowns. At least.
At least. They could not hang with Florida. I'm sorry. Georgia Tech, after they beat Georgia Tech and then they want to make a statement like that, come on now. You only play one ranked team, and that's Memphis later on in the season. They don't play nobody else. Like, there's no other ranked team on their schedule. So,
Like I said,
if they were in the SEC, playing Georgia, Alabama, Florida, LSU, A&M, even hell, let's go Missouri. They're gonna get creamed.
Hey,
I
what
don't
about
know. They might beat Missouri, but as far as all the other schools, they'll get smoked for sure.
Exactly. So before we get out of here, because looking at the time, we're a little over what we usually do. But
By the way, I'll be
let's
streaming the
talk
game
about,
tomorrow.
because it's the first game. Zach, I'm gonna start with you. What's your morning routine for tomorrow morning before the game?
Well, I probably won't sleep pretty much tonight because it's like Christmas morning. You're waking up. It's like Christmas morning. You never sleep the night before. So I'm going to try to get some sleep tonight. Probably drink some more beers might help out. But, I'm just going to wake up. I'm going to eat a hearty breakfast and then head on over to my brother's in the morning. And we're going to tear it down with some Jaeger bombs and watch the Florida Gators play tomorrow. That's what we're doing.
So there you go. How about you, Lucas?
I'll be streaming the game, and I gotta do some homework before, but I'm gonna be in time to stream the game like I usually do.
Yep. As always, Lucas will be streaming the game on his page. I'm going live with Nick Hubert. And as for me, I'm gonna get up and I'll be about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Usually don't pop a beer that early, but with the game being at noon, we got to start sometime. So that's just how that morning's gonna go. And then I'm gonna be ready for that 12 o'clock kickoff. Darryl, and I'm a little hurt, but I understand your situation.
Yeah, so look, my typical football weekend without all this COVID stuff, I'm up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. All right. We load the trailer up. We're driving down to Gainesville. Yes, that early in the morning. And we setting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And look, we cracking the beer open 6:30. So we usually go all out. We got the Gator head and everything, man. I'm a little disappointed there ain't no tailgating. I just bought the tailgating trailer from a gentleman down in South Florida. He's actually in your group, Lucas, because he's commented a couple times on that trailer. So he's in your group. Wonderful guy. Hopefully I get to use it next year. But this year, unfortunately, I'll probably be working a lot of football Saturday. So
Damn.
my phone will be off at
By
11
the way,
o'clock.
like I said, if you want to join the stream, go right ahead.
Yeah, look, my phone's gonna be off at 11 o'clock, and I ain't texting nobody. I ain't listening to the radio until about 7:30 tomorrow night. I'm gonna
Well, you're gonna be
disappear
itching like a dog.
till 7 o'clock because I got to rewatch the game about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So
nobody talk to Darryl.
Nobody mentioned Cheryl.
you won't be able to. My phone's gonna be off.
And I know how hard that is to be able to do that. I've had to do that before, and it's so hard to not be on your phone, to not want to listen to anybody when anything's going on. It's just you just want to watch the game. And
I know me.
Yeah, I feel your pain.
I was at work. I was wanting to listen to Mick while I was at work.
Yeah, right.
So they better win. So hopefully I'll be sending a lot of nasty text messages at like 7:30 tomorrow.
We'll have to see how your night's going, but I don't think you have anything to worry about. I think the game will go good. But we're gonna get off here. Everybody get a good night's sleep. Get ready to be loud and rowdy tomorrow. And I know it's to our TVs, but hey, it's the way it's got to be. But as we all know the saying, as when we get off this show, if you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator bait.
Gator bait. Go Gators.
Go Gators.